It's time to get your geek on. It's Two Geeks TV. With your hosts, Victor and Sean.
Keep on geeking on.
My name is Jim Lee, and I'm happy. Thank you. I chose that name. That's not my real name. Got pregnant. No, hold on. So, how many guys have been to like San Diego Comic-Con or New York Comic-Con? Has anyone been to one of my panels before? No? Oh, just a few. So you guys know that I kind of will ramble and talk about things, maybe do some Q&A, but then I'll also draw. Pictures, and then I usually give them away. You guys are so nice. I was going to say for $300, but I'm going to say they're free. Wait till you see the sketches.
I'll give you $300.
Thank you. It's like, when you see a concert, they bring out all those guitars or tennis players. I just carry those for effect. I really only use one marker, but they're all like these dead markers I carry around. So it looks cool. Thank you. I still buy markers too. It's crazy. I have so many, yet I don't know how that works. Anyway. So my name is Jim Lee, but that's not my given name. I was born in South Korea. And we moved to the United States when I was 5. And then when my parents became naturalized citizens, I got the choice to become a naturalized citizen. No, I just did it. And then they said you could change your name legally. And my favorite TV show was Star Trek. And my parents didn't like the name Spock Lee, so I went with James. So I was like 11 or 12. And then I named my sister, I named her Linda Lee after Supergirl. She didn't realize it was Supergirl. I haven't told her yet. All right. Okay. First off, let me say it's awesome to be back. It's been 11 years since I was in Toronto. Right? Yeah. Anyone here when I was here? Okay.
Yes.
All right. And then I used to come out here quite often in the 90s because I had a TV show based on the comic book I created called Wildcats. Yeah, so the animation was done by Nelvana, which is based here in Toronto. So I would fly up here, at different stages of the production. And then one time they're doing, we came up to choose the voice actors. And then after we picked them, I came up to listen to the recording of the dialogue, the audio for the cartoon. And what character should I draw? Does someone say Groot?
Female Thor.
Never. Okay, process. Still thinking about Groot.
Aquaman.
Groot would be very easy, I think. I'm thinking. Chris Pine. I'm gonna do Wolverine. I think Groot I could do it in like 5 seconds. I could do 15 Groots. Huh?
The Flash.
One per each. Yes, hold on. What was I talking about? Yeah. So I was listening. Wait, Baby Groot or Baby Groot is harder because he has to be cute, and it's a lot harder to draw cute things than it is gnarly. Challenge myself. What's up, lady? Hello. I thought Canada was a very polite. I don't play hockey. Yeah, I'm here on vacation, ma'am. And, I heard this was a friendly town, and I'm not working, so I'm gonna draw Wolverine, but then I'm gonna nail this Groot. It's gonna be the most cutest baby, whatever, Groot ever. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna do Wolverine first. So, where was it? Backtrack. So we're doing Nelvana, right? So I'm gonna have 3 different conversations going. So this, so Nelvana, and we went to this audio bay to do some recording for the Wildcats cartoon, and then so I ended up doing a voice on the cartoon. There's a guard that gets run over in episode 8, 9, something like that, and I play the guard, and he's like, stop, and then the truck runs him over. So if you watch it, or haven't watched it, it's me. But then in the next bay over, they were doing audio for the some cartoon called X-Men or something, like, and like Aviara. Oh, sorry, I was gonna slow it down, but I'm already done. Anyway, so so they invited me to come over, and I did a voice for one of the Sentinels. Yeah. That's the range I have: security guard to mutant killing Sentinel. I got it all. That's right. And those bastards never paid me too. That's why I'll never work at Marvel again. Anyway, so it's a joke. Huh? Until I buy them. Oh, you been reading the wrong. What is those websites? My son actually asked me, like, "Hey, are we worth $180 million?" I'm like, "What are you, high?" And he said he saw it on some website. What is it? Celebrity net worth, right? And he said, "Yeah, there's some guy named Jim Lee. He's like $180 million." I said, "We're a little south of that, but not close." But no. And he's like super disappointed. And I'm like, "What do you like? Do you even understand like how this would work? If we had $180 million, I would never see you ever again. You'd be at some boarding school in Switzerland." And, instead, we're sharing a bedroom together with 8 other children. Anyway, so no, some other guy that had the same name. So I wrote a note to that website. And they released it, or they deleted that, or something. I don't know. Problems that I have. Please be informed, you are creating internal familial problems by reporting my net worth at $180 million. But also, people, your neighbors Google you and then they trip on your sidewalk and stuff. I just don't want to deal with that kind of aggravation. And then you got people here, like, you can buy Marvel, like, you must be on that site, right? Because, yeah. Anyway, all right, so this is Wolverine. It's a 3/4 shot. You can see it, right? Yeah. All right, who wants this sketch? Right, so I usually start with the eyebrows, right? Right. A lot of consternation. Right. This marker's dead. So. Fight. That's right. Wow. But please, no one flash me anything, all right? Just keep it. At the end, if you want to put your phone up with the light on, that'd be awesome. But we'll keep it PG. Anyway, so, what? Oh, it works. It works for a layman, but for a professional, Wait, you don't think I work with these all the time? You don't think I can tell the difference? Have you ever got? All right, is anyone an expert on anything in this room? Real estate, right? So when you meet someone that knows nothing about real estate, they walk into a house and go, "This is beautiful," and you go like, "Oh, those are fake. That's fake wood, right?" And that's like 52-cent, whatever. Yeah, whatever. The floors are made of plastic, right, or whatever. And then there's dry rot everywhere, and there's black mold under there, right? People don't know that, but you know that. Let me tell you, that marker is dead. It's dead and it's useless. You may not know it yet. But someday, like 15 minutes, you'll be, oh, he was right. And that's because I'm like that gentleman over there, except this is what I do. This is the only thing I do. I spend all day with these. Trust me. Anyway. So, I didn't mean to scare you, sorry. Anyway, so, because that came off a little, like, messed up. Anyway. So I spent a lot of time drawing at home. And it takes me a while to wake up when I go to events like this. So I started with a signing at 10. I was late. But I woke up at 8, which was like 5 o'clock my time, and I was up till 3 drawing, or signing the sketches or something, or prints. And then before I flew out here, I was on a deadline, and so I had to get a cover done. Let me see if I can show you.
The new metal one?
I can show you one of those too. Okay. Oh, you can't see this.
It's not working.
All right, see you later. No, I don't know. All right, that's the Mortal Man, and then I did this section here below. Is it clear? Can you even see it? It's pencil. Not bad. Is that what you said? Okay. The image or the art? Oh, okay. I just want to make sure you're happy. All right. So sorry. It's late. I've had some coffee. I really am a nice person. Right. And then this is the top. So this is the first cover. So all the Dark Matter books have a cover that folds out, and instead of folding out sideways, like a normal wraparound or gatefold cover, this one goes vertically. So this is the main cover. When you see it, I'll say DC, and then you open it up and there's a flap down, which represents the villains, sort of like representing hell, down here on Earth with this pyramid, and then the main character sort of jumping in front of a big pizza moon. And we got Immortal Man, Vandal Savage, Ra's al Ghul, and Hawkman. I don't know if you can see those. Right, and so it's a pretty, and that represents sort of heaven. Let's see what, oh, it's dangerous, hold on. I did it last night, or 2 nights ago. So I started at 11, and the courier came at 5 o'clock in the morning to pick it up. And then I slept for 2 hours, and I got up and got ready to come to this convention. Well, as a publisher with Dan DiDio, during the day I'm at the office, and so I can only really draw at night or weekends. It certainly is the time that has the least amount of interruptions, and a lot of websites don't update their pages, so there's yeah, it's hard to procrastinate. And this is, you know what I mean. Hold on a sec. I'll get back to this drawing in 1 sec. So, but when I draw late at night, I'll tell you that there are times when I get very kind of depressed. So this one I think I put up recently. This is a metal cover. I wish I could embed sounds into the files, you know, like so when you pull, like, should do an audio. So it's hard to tell, but so this is, it's a lot of gray. So I did that. That's it for the most part. Anyway, so it's tough though sometimes because I feel like I've been in the business for a while and kind of achieved a few things. Anyway, but I draw late at night, and so it was something like at 11 o'clock you feel all right, but then around like 2, 3 in the morning, you start getting hungry because you're trying to procrastinate. And you go downstairs in the kitchen, and you're staring in your pantry, and you know, just looking at like Pop-Tarts and ramen, and Doritos and extra hot Cheetos. I don't even know if they have these brands up here, but yeah. No, so I'm just saying that I don't know if it's self-esteem, but I do think like, and I'm like up there in my room eating this horrible crap food and drawing pictures and going like, have I achieved the dream? Like, have I, through my 30 years in the business, excelled to the pinnacle of my career to the point where I can now enjoy cheap corn processed foods any hour of the night, drawing all night long for a deadline? This is the dream, isn't it? It is, right? It is the dream. But let me tell you, it's not so much the dream, but because we can all do that. We can all go home and stay up late and do that for free. I think the dream is achieved when you get on the plane and you fly out to a lovely city like this and are in a room with a lot of lovely people, except for a couple of people, you know, who and get to kind of share this moment together. It's nice. And I go, okay, well maybe that's not so bad. All right, so there's a payoff to what I'm doing at these crazy hours. Because I do I got into comics because I didn't want a real job. And my father was, he was a doctor, still he's retired, but you know, I used to watch him and he would work crazy hours, you know, on call, and then doctors have to take standardized tests to keep being accredited. And so I'd see him like cramming for these tests, like SAT type tests, and I'm like, I am never doing that as an adult, because that seems like a complete waste of time and an awful experience. So I got into comics and then cut to like 30 years later, and I'm sitting there, hitting refresh on the web page, eating these Cheetos, licking the orange stuff off my fingertips, looking at this half-drawn cover and going like, oh my god, I made the wrong friggin' mistake. Anyway, so this is what we're in. It looks odd. I actually put the eyeballs in sooner than that. That's actually kind of what gives it life. How do I draw eyes? You can't draw eyes. All right. Quick side trip. All right. Very quickly. With all things that you draw, you're not drawing what's real. You're drawing what we think is real. All right. So we're not going to draw every blade of grass. That's right. That's exactly what I said. You know what? Why you come up here? You can narrate everything. I actually thought about that. I was like, how many of you consider yourself to be true fans? And then I have them come up and start giving the spiel, and then they would go until they start making a mistake, and then the next person would go. But that's right. That's what you said. Can you say that again, louder for? Did everyone hear that? Because he said you don't have to draw every single, I said it. You don't have to draw every single, I want the full credit. You don't have to draw every single blade of grass because the human brain will actually look at it and fill in the blanks, right? Right? We don't need to see, like the human brain is amazing that way, so. What? Autofill for the brain, yeah, exactly. Autofill for the brain. And so you can draw, for example, grass like this, and then that looks like water with grass. So maybe you can draw clumps, and so I'm not drawing the grass, I'm drawing the shadow of the grass, right? I'm not drawing the spoon, I'm drawing the shadow of the spoon. So, and this, there is no spoon, and because this is just ink on paper. And so this is a dark shadow, that's a thicker clump of grass, and so that's why that line is thicker, right? So to me, I mean, you could do it this way, but I prefer that. That feels more real to me. So when I draw an eye, I could do something like this, right? And if you're very alert at 2 in the morning, do they have meth up here? Does anyone know? You're a mayor, I think. Anyway, so like I said, I spend a lot of time on websites late at night. I know what's going on in the world. So this could be Bob. Is that what's his name? What was his name? Rob. Oh, that's right. Oh wait, he passed away. Sorry, that's really bad. Yeah, no, that's not good. Anyway, so and then every eyebrow hair, just like if it were grass. And this is a perfectly valid way of drawing. And right, nostril like that. Okay. Or you could do this approach and go, okay, I'm going to take the eyebrow and I'm actually going to simplify and abstract it into a shape that resembles an eyebrow that you think is an eyebrow but does not actually exist because it's so odd. And Jack Kirby would actually do eyebrows like this, and so I do something very similar. That almost looks like a mountain range. That's my eyebrow. No one has eyebrows like this. I've never seen it. So, and then I will go in and I'll put that indent for the tear gland, and it's the shadow of that. And then I'll take all these eyelashes and then think about how women will, when they do makeup, they make the outer edges darker, right? With either the eyeliner,
mascara.
See, everyone's an expert in something, so exactly, that's what she said. So it actually gets thicker over here, right? And then thicker over here, and then it gets thinner over here, right? And then sometimes there's a fold right there, right? And then I'll, since the eyeball is actually a ball like that, and the pupil there, so like a cue ball, the cue ball will have a light source that's over here and it'll be reflected right there. So that's where this like kind of dot appears. And then the eye there. Right? Before, after. Before, after. That's how you do it.
That's really cool.
Okay. No, one last thing. If you do an eyeball, the more exotic, tear gland, and so that's your basic eyeball. But if you want to make it more exotic, it's kind of almond shaped like that. Sidewalk. Right. And then Batman is more like this. If you're Ben Affleck, Batman is. Well, good? All right.
Good. Cool.
It's not done yet. Well, there are going to be other things that someone's going to randomly shout out. Like, what about femurs? How about femurs? Sorry. I have another conversation going on. Just me. So this is Wolverine. So even with hair, right, I'm drawing every 10th hair just to give shape and direction. And then at the end, it's more important what the silhouette is, so I'll pick out that kind of, to show the contour of that shape. Now mind you, I'm drawing this at a weird angle, so the whole head is stretched out, because if you look at something at an angle, like it gets closer together. Does that make sense? And when you look at it, it's further apart. Yeah, see, you could be up here too, all right? You got it next time. So it's the same way if you look at, like, can I do this right? Right, that says, you make these super long, but then if you get lower, you guys can get lower. You get out of it.
Flip the paper.
Oh yeah, hey, see, right? So I can make this super long. I'm just explaining the difficulties, the challenges artists face. It's not that easy, really. So now I'm looking at it over here. There's other things I need to adjust. I don't know why I was drawing from over here. All right, I'm gonna have to fix things. So we moved to the United States when I was young, and so I'm an immigrant, and but I didn't speak any English, and comics were really my entree into the civilized world, because you couldn't read comic books without reading or understanding language. If you have a storyteller that knows what they're doing, you can understand the story just by looking at the pictures. And then as I learned English, I was able to understand what I was reading, and as my vocabulary expanded, the dialogue blooms, and then the caption, the yellow captions, and the yellow letters pages, and so on and so on. It's kind of how I taught myself. So comics were a big part of my childhood, and obviously there were no movies, there were no Star Wars, there's none of that. So Star Trek, there were only 3 seasons of that. So there was not a lot. You guys really are super fortunate. But that's really what kept me kind of sane, and I used to really daydream in school and draw on a notebook or on the tables, and because my teachers would come and they saw me drawing, like this is like 3rd or 4th grade, they would tear the drawing out of my hands and then crumple it up in front of me, right, just to kind of prove it right. And like I said, it's not hard, it's not easy being comfort. And then they just toss it away. And then so to give them whatever, so I would start drawing on the tabletops so all throughout grade school and high school, I would have drawings all over the desks in all my classes. What were my favorite comics? Well, actually, it was the X-Men. Was my favorite, yeah. And it was probably because I identified with the characters the most. They went to a school, they had to wear a uniform. I went to a school where we had to wear a uniform. Thankfully, it wasn't blue and yellow pajamas, but it was close. It was close. And then when they hit puberty, they got these crazy powers. That part I didn't. But they felt like outsiders, so they were kind of accepted, but at the same time kind of not understood. And certainly growing up in the Midwest as a Korean American, I kind of identified with them. So, but when I was a kid, when I say kid, like 9 or 10, I was really into Superman and Batman, I think. But then when I got older and became a teenager, I really got into the Marvel stuff. Really led by my love of Neil Adams' artwork. So then I was always into that stuff, but my parents still wanted me to be a doctor when I was growing up, and I kind of I paid lip service. I kind of went along for a while, I guess. I got grades. I took my MCATs and everything. I worked in the hospital. And when I got to when I graduated college, The Dark Knight Returns had come out, so 1986. That's right, Frank Miller. And that book really that was the single book that really kind of inspired me to get into it, because it was so different from anything else out there in terms of the narrative, the coloring, the packaging, the storytelling, everything. It felt like it was a comic book written for adults. And at that point, I kind of had kind of disillusioned and kind of fallen out of collecting and reading comics. I still got them at home on subscription. But yeah, that book really made a difference. And then that's kind of when I gave myself a year to kind of break into the business and move back into my parents, which I'm sure they loved. And exactly. And I basically sat down and pretended like I already had the job of drawing, and I would draw 8 to 10 hours a day as soon as I woke up.
Do you make your own fan art when you get into the comics?
So I make my own fan art? What do you mean? Fine art?
Fan art, it's like, you know, you, like, when you're going, when you want to show your portfolio to the manga editors.
Right.
Did you show them, let's say, sample fan art piece that you made?
I made my own stories, that's what you're, so there was no internet, obviously, and so there was no way to get any scripts. I didn't know even how you broke into comics. I didn't know what people got paid, and I didn't know anything. So I just created my own sort of 3-page narratives, and then I would photocopy the first batch, maybe like 90 different sets, and I mailed them out to every publisher I could find. And I got responses from like 3 of them, Marvel, DC, and Eclipse, I think. And they're all no's. But I kept, and I posted some of those up on my Instagram site. Excuse me? Yes, yeah. MySpace, Fredster. There was the late '80s, dude. There was nothing. There was no AOL 56K block modems and anything. There was email at universities. That's how the internet started. Universities, right? How did I end up penciling Alpha Flight? When you break into business, they don't give you options, right? When you work at a restaurant, they don't go, do you want to wait staff, or you want to clean dishes, or do you want to work the front? They go, you're mopping the toilets. That's what it is. So, wait, that's not what I meant though. So Alpha Flight was awesome. It was my dream job. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. I almost forgot I was coming to Canada. When we left the other day, my driver said like, oh, Air Canada, right? I'm like, oh crap, it's another country. So I had to run back in the house to get my passport. I literally was going to leave without it. But yeah, you're right. So Alpha Flight, oh my gosh, how much of an honor was it to work on? It was actually really cool. It was really cool because, like I said, I was a huge X-Men fan, and Alpha Flight obviously came out of the pages of X-Men 121, 118, I don't know, something like that. What? 108? In the shadows? At the keyboard? Like the control? Alright, and then... Department H, you're right. So, you're right. Hulk 181 didn't have a Department H? Alright, here's another expert. I knew all that stuff. I'm just trying to interact with you guys. Like, I don't have to do underdrawing. I can just draw it. Whatever. I'm just trying to show you the process. Anyway, so I got that book, and then the first issue, it goes to the Parliament building. First of all, I was like, what's Parliament? And then, and why do the buildings look so old? And so it was a shot of Vindicator flying above the Parliament building in Ottawa. And there was no internet, so how do you, I can't remember, I went to the library. And I took some books, I borrowed them, sorry. I borrowed some books that had pictures, but even then they didn't have the correct angles, and so if you look at Alpha Flight 51, it's the worst drawing of your apartment building I've ever, sorry, I apologize. There was no Google Maps that could instantly give me the exact angle I needed. But yeah, that was really cool to be able to do that, because what was also launching around that time was the New Universe, and so my fear was I was going to be on like DP7. Which is a horrible name for our comic book series. Anyway, so I knew somebody. Anyway, so what am I saying? Yeah, so I was happy not to be stuck on that or Star-Lord, or not Star-Lord, what was it? The other guy. No, not Groot. Star Brand, sorry, yeah, Star Brand. So, but I was prepared to do that. Look, I was prepared. If I didn't get in, I was prepared to move to New York and sweep floors, just to get into the business. That's how committed I was to it. So I was very happy to get on something that was remotely connected to the X-Men, and then I even got to draw Wolverine on the second first cover I think I did had Wolverine. That's right. So that was pretty cool.
What was it like working with Chris Claremont?
No. I'm trying to think of all my great Chris Claremont memories. It was awesome. I'm trying to say it in a way you guys are trying to date me. No, it was. You should have said like, how awesome was it to work with Chris Claremont, right? You threw it out in a negative way. I'm just following your lead. Super nice guy. Why do you sound like you don't believe what you're saying? Why are you so defensive? All right. For the record, Chris Claremont, awesome, super nice guy. And so it was really awesome to be able to work on my favorite book with my favorite writer. And when I got offered the X-Men. And I don't even know how that came about, other than I was at New York, I was at the Marvel offices visiting, and I saw Bob Harris wandering the halls, and back then everyone wanted to work with X-Men, and so everyone was like trying to chat him up, right? You know, and so he's like trying to walk by me as quickly as possible. I'm like, hey, like if you ever need like a fill-in, I'm available. Like master of the obvious. Everyone's available for a fill-in on that book. It's a #1 book, right? Like, if you never thought about it, just remind you. And then, but surely enough, maybe a couple weeks later, his assistant called and they offered me a fill-in issue, which was 248. And but that had the Reavers in it, so it was just a bunch of. It wasn't really the X-Men. Oh no, Havoc and. That other one, Dazzler was in it. And then that egg thing. it was weird, it was weird. But I was happy to be on the book. And then I did a 3-part Acts of Vengeance story where we changed Psylocke into Asian. So I don't know what was going on there. What?
I think Psylocke had a mind trick.
No, I know. I was just saying they were. Sorry, I drew the comic book. Like I said, I know all. I'm just trying to engage. Like, no, that's okay. So no, I should stop doing that. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're right. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, that's right. There was like Mandarin or some guy like that, and he mind controlled her, and then yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So if you look at that first appearance, she's in armor on that cover, which was supposed to be her costume. And then Chris said, well, can you do something that's like more sleek or whatever? Like, I'm thinking like more like Elektra. And I'm like, okay. And then I sent over some other stuff. And he said, it's still a little cumbersome, like more like Elektra. And then so I just drew Elektra's costume. And he said, this is perfect. Same way with like Jubilee, like Jubilee's costume should be the sidekick. So Mark Sylvester did the design, but I'm pretty sure it went very similarly. Or it should look like Robin. Okay, what about this? No, more like Robin. And you draw Robin's costume. Yes, that's it. That's all. So he knew what he wanted. So yeah, that was cool. And then based on the sales of the book at the time. Oh, shoot, it's almost 6:30. Wait, no, I have till 6:45. All right, so I have time for one more. Anyway, so. I don't know. Who controls these things? You. Me. The man on vacation, yes. What's the story with Scott Lobdell?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like, you're implying there's something wrong with my boy, Scott? Who? Oh, you should ask him. I don't know. Scott's a good guy. It depends. There's some shots where I will take photos of myself, and then there are others where I'll have my wife take photos of me. And then there are times when I ask her to pose, and then I take photos. Yeah, you're right. He uses a lot. He uses a lot of photos. So it's true. Really? Right, but back then that was filmed, so there's no way he could have known what he got until he filmed. Right, so I used to do that too. I used to take pictures, and it was very inefficient. So it was, like I said, it's challenging to be accomplished. And then the advent of cell phones, it was super easy. Oh, I got a message. We're gonna message. Hey, Sharon over in the corner. Sharon. You'll have to wrap it up by 6:45 because we have a car upstairs to take you to dinner. Sharon? We can all thank Sharon for the end of this. All right, I'm trying to show you an embarrassing picture where I'm posing in an awkward way. But, oh man. All right, so there's a Wildstorm cover I drew of this guy. You guys all have your cameras up, like. Alright, so this is, yeah. So this is me in my immaculately clean office, working in my bright orange shorts. It's probably like very late at night. And so I'm holding a gun, about to end my sorry life. But no, I said, no, I'm going to draw this cover, and so I'm holding the cover just to see how my hand grips the barrel. And so it's the Wildstorm cover, right? You know what I'm talking about. Work? Okay, great. That's all right. Is that a real gun? Do you want it to be a real gun? No, of course not. Of course not. Okay. Yeah. So here's that cover, right? So that's the hand. But it's, you're not like tracing it, oops. Right, it's just really kind of gives you kind of a source material to kind of reflect on. A lot of times, even when I take photo reference, you're not just drawing it by rote or tracing it. All right, very quickly, since we only have 15 minutes, I think I started another sketch. What? This is one of Does anyone else have questions?
Can I sell my soul for that?
Aren't you a little too late? No. That is really mean. Yes, you could have this sketch. I don't know. I have to figure out a way to. What would be fair?
Trivia question!
Battle Royale.
$300. Auction. Trivia question!
I'm from Winnipeg. I need a Wolverine.
Is Wolverine from Winnipeg?
Alberta!
Is it really sad to be from Winnipeg? Is that I know. Teach me your ways. Should I feel sad for you or feel sad for you?
There we go.
Alberta!
Please, I deserve your sympathy. I am from Winnipeg. What does that mean?
He's not from Winnipeg.
Really?
He's from Alberta, can't be from Alberta, boy.
Ask a question, and whoever answers correctly
Trivia
wins.
question.
That gentleman over here is going to win.
Sorry.
Story of how I came up with Gambit.
We're not eating Cheetos.
No, so with Gambit, Chris Claremont came up with the name, and I came up with the power. Yeah, and the playing cards, right? That's correct. But it's actually the power to excite valence molecules, valence states in a molecule. Does anyone know anything about this? Right. So every molecule, has these. So if you excite the valence states, it makes the molecule more unstable, could potentially explode. And so that was my contribution along the plane.
How do you double work being a dad as a big family?
I work very late at night, and I am here by myself, so it's good to have a little time off. No, they all start at school. So my schedule is I work at the office, 9 to 6 or whatever, 9:30 to 6:30, and then I come home and have dinner, and usually my wife and I will watch one TV show. Depending on the season, it could range from like Breaking Bad to Bachelorette. So depends on who gets to choose. Yeah, no, I like the Bachelorette. Do you guys get that show up here?
Yeah.
Bachelor in Paradise?
Yeah.
Any Dean fans here? Any Dean fans?
I wanted to ask what part of Batman do you embody, do you think?
Oh, probably that innate sensuality, that unmistakable. I don't know. What kind of what qualities of Batman do I embody? Striking fear into the hearts of, I don't know. Yes. Net worth. That's a better answer right there. I'm gonna go with net worth. Perfect. Yeah. What's my real name? It is, so in Korea they say their last name first, right? So Kim Jong-un. Right? That's not part of that, that's explained. How awesome would it be if my name were Kim Jong-un? Oh yeah. It's like, anyway, so they say the last name first, and so and Lee is actually not my last name, because there's no L in the Korean alphabet, so it's E-E, right? And so when you meet like a Dr. Lee, I don't know why I say doctor, but Dr. Lee or Dr. Ri, typically that's the same Korean name, which is Dr. E. So it's E Yong Choi. That's my name. So this is E. I don't know, is that what it means? Okay, that's what it means. Yeah, I think that's what my dad said. No, he did. He said, "You are a kick-ass dragon," that's what he said. Thanks, Dad. I was born the year of the dragon. Yeah, and I am a Leo. Yes. All right.
What we're supposed to do, Garthy, against the...
Do you have the artists that inspire you?
That is a very astute, profound statement. People lie. If my kid said that to me, I would start crying, because that means like they've learned about life. They've learned that people do lie. Parents lie. What do I say? Of course we don't.
Santa Claus.
Oh no! Don't go there. This goes on the internet, and I have a lot of kids, and yeah. Spoiler alert. So what is the secret to that? So with the kids, we just try to do the best we can, but it is hard. Raising kids is the hardest thing you can do. for sure. There's never enough time that you can spend and things you can do with them to be a great parent. It is very rewarding.
Do you have any plans to go to the Batman miniseries
Yes. Oh, I just made up the answer because I wanted you guys to.
People lie.
And that's a pretty safe thing. It's like, do you plan on drawing another Batman project ever again? The answer is yes.
Is there any title in the DC universe you want to try your hand at?
Any what?
Is there any other
Tile?
DC title that you haven't done yet that you want to try?
Wonder Woman.
Green Lantern.
Like the Flash?
Sergeant
I
Rock.
would probably say
Secret Six.
Secret Six. Secret Six. Aquaman has all those scales on his back. He's like the DC equivalent of Spider-Man for me. I love Spider-Man as a character. I would just never really ever want to draw that character. Because I drew him on different covers, but really never, you know, the webbing. It's horrific. No, it's like you draw everything and then you have to put the webbing in every single time you draw the character. It would be like drawing the Punisher and having to draw guns over and over. It gets really old fast.
What about Nightwing?
Batman Beyond? I don't know. Maybe. No, I don't think so.
What does Catwoman say
What does Catwoman say?
to the marriage proposal?
Oh!
No! We don't. Don't!
You gotta know.
I do
Don't
know.
answer. Don't answer.
Do you
Read the
want to
comment.
spoil things?
No!
No.
I want to read the comic.
Tom Shane.
Have you seen the Justice League movie yet?
I can't really talk about the movie stuff.
Was it good?
I can't really talk about any of that stuff.
When you watched it,
Excuse me? Scott Williams and I have been together longer than any of the women I've been married to. He is like kind of like my first. Scott is great because I send him pages. I don't even tell him. I don't really even communicate. He knows exactly what to do after I send him the stuff. We've worked together for so long, and so he'll even. If I hear from him, it's because like, oh, hey, this forearm looks kind of whack. Do you really want me to ink it like this? And I go, yeah. No. So we have a really great working relationship, and we work in a lot of shorthand together. He's able to do things with the line that I can't possibly do myself. And so that's when I ink myself, it looks very different from the way he inks me, right? So.
what was your favorite title to work on?
Well, no, I would say that I like all the stuff. I mean, when I take on a project, it's because I have a passion for working with another creator or that particular character. The way you guys look at it, and the way you interpret it, whether you think you like it or not, it's so, in my mind, very dependent on the character. So you could draw a character that looks cool on a gargoyle, but if I put 2 little ears on him and a bat symbol on his chest, you'll like it 3 times more. And that's the power of marketing. That's the power of brands. And so when I work on a book, it's not like, oh, I get to draw this character. I get to work with this writer, and that's where the fun is. And the fun is drawing the scenes and drawing the story. And who you draw, it's kind of secondary. So it's not like I go, well, I really want to work on this character per se. It's more like, oh, I haven't worked with this writer. I love the way this guy works, or how he constructs stories. So that's kind of generally where I start, and then the character and the story kind of comes later.
Are you gonna work with Scott Snyder again?
Wait, what? Will I work with Scott Snyder again?
Soon,
Define soon.
within the next year.
No.
Are you gonna work with Tom King?
Tom King?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Miracle's pretty awesome.
The real guy knows the answer to the question, yes or no.
Am I going to bring back Wildcats? Well, technically, Warren Ellis is doing a really nice job on the Wildstorm. It's very different though, and actually issue 7 is even the cover for that, and that has John Colt. It has Spartan on the cover, but he looks very, very different from any other Spartan that's ever existed.
Are you gonna work with Frank Miller again?
What?
Frank Miller, All-Star Batman?
2 different things going on.
Do you have references in your comic book comics and stuff?
Do I have what? References?
Yeah, like with X-Men Go, like the references to like
Oh, do I put secret messages that might inflame people? All the time, dude. All the time. You're not looking hard enough. Do my kids share passion? No, they don't actually. They're just living off the gravy. It's like Uber here, Uber there, Postmates here, Postmates there. No, you know what? They have a passion for drawing. All my kids do. And they certainly had access to a lot of comic books. The most they got into, they like manga, they like anime, so they like a lot of the Japanese characters. And through them, I kind of, learn more about Naruto and Death Note and things like that. Yeah, so, but they're not as into the Western stuff. And it might be just because I've worked in the business. I mean, they come to Comic-Con and they like the con experience, but they're not necessarily in it for the comic books per se.
What was your inspiration behind creating Hush?
Unknown Soldier. Wait, hold on, not done. Because that would look like I just ripped off Unknown Soldier. So with Hush, so all of Batman's rogues have a very particular visual look, and so we wanted someone that also had that aspect to him. And so my initial designs for the character looked more like the Phantom of the Opera. I knew it was a tortured character that had been kind of hiding and had this desire for vengeance. And so it kind of started with the Phantom of the Opera, the idea of one half being scarred and hidden by a mask, and that idea of kind of hiding one's true self behind something. And out of that came the idea, oh, well, maybe bandages, right? And I always love that one scene in Dark Knight Returns where Two-Face basically is talking about how he's so messed up, and they do surgery on him and he's healed, or we think he's healed, but then he says no, they made me worse. They basically healed the wrong side of his face, right? Exactly. And so, so I kind of combined those two and started playing around with a character with bandages on his face. And the Unknown Soldier, if you look it up, is a character that is a soldier with bandages on his face. That basically had amnesia or something like that. And so then I paired it with like a trench coat, and then because of Jason Todd, kind of created this kind of faux Robin costume underneath, and then we needed him to have some sort of weapon that was kind of different from all the other rogues, and so we gave him the 245. So that's kind of was a synthesis of all those kind of different ideas. All right, so it's 6:45. I think there's a text from Sharon. I guess. Oh yes. A what? A what? Oh no, not Naruto's too hard. But wait. Groot. Oh, here's Batman. Well, it's gonna be Groot in a second. People like that. People like that.
After his film, please hurry.
Transform Batman into Groot in one. Sorry. It wasn't really Batman.
Sacrilege.
right. So how do we give this away? What?
BatGroot. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Wait, does he have a nose?
No, just nose.
What's that? It's not very cute. You're right.
Cutie photo reference. That's funny. BatGroot. Oh my god. That's cute. Oh my god, I gave to him.
Alright, so what we're going to do, so we have 3 to give away, right? So I'm just going to have whoever wins gets first pick. So if someone's celebrating their birthday today, you can prove it right now.
I had
Not
mine
today.
3 weeks ago.
Tomorrow?
Does that count?
Tomorrow?
Last week!
We're going to keep going. Huh?
Saturday.
No, we're going forward. So today, tomorrow,
Saturday, next
day.
September 16th.
Halloween!
September
How can there be
5th.
no one here that has...
August 29th.
22!
August 29th.
Here's what we're going to do. We have... Oh, all right.
Oh, come on. That's not very cute.
Love it.
Yeah, hold on. It's getting a little cuter, isn't it? Person that asked for the Wonder Woman, without the Wonder Woman, so, yeah, so that was off. That was off. So,
What are you doing? Oh. Oh, wow.
no, guys